Hey guys, it's Leilani Lopez, author of The Devil's Heir, a young adult paranormal romance about demons, and today I'm going to be talking about how I transformed from a hardcore pantser to kind of like a plantser. So if you're like me and the word plotting just leaves you with like a bunch of question marks and you have no idea how people can write like a 50-page document of a plot when they could just kind of just start going, then I'm here to help you. So if you guys have been following me for a while, you already know that I am now in the process of writing book 2 of the Devil's Heir trilogy. So as of January 2020, whatever today is, I have already completed the first draft and my first read through. So the reason that I was able to quickly write the first draft of the book, so I finished in about like 2.5 to 3 months, was because I plotted it. Now, depending on the type of plotter you are, again, there's like hardcore plotters where they basically kind of like write their whole manuscript, but really to them that's just like an outline. To like me, which is kind of like the bare minimum. So the tool that I'm going to use today is the Save the Cat Writes a Novel. So I'm sure a bunch of you guys, if you're writers, you watch other WriterTuber videos, I'm sure you've probably heard of this book. So I mostly want to focus on the beats. So if you guys know what the beats are, it's basically like what should be happening at each point of the novel. So each beat has like a specific aspect of the novel that should be happening. So first of all, I just highly recommend this book. Really loved it. It's really helped me out. So right now I have 2 sticky notes kind of in this book. So the first one is on page 24. Ooh, I'm out of focus. The first one's on page 24, and this is where it talks about like each of the acts and each of the beats. It gives just like a brief summary. So if you read the book, each of those beats are going to go into like a lot of detail, but that's just kind of like if I need a brief glance to like figure out what it is that I'm supposed to be writing, this is kind of where I start. And then the other one is on page 199. So basically towards like the middle of this book, the author Jessica Brody, she's going to give you examples of different types of novels. So whether it's like a love story, whether it's an adventure story, let's see if I can find it. She's going to break down like a popular book. Oh, here it goes. So we have like superhero, dude with a problem, full triumph, buddy love, out of the bottle, golden fleece, monster in the house. Yeah, I think that's the last one. So basically each of those are the types of stories that you usually see. So again, like buddy love is like a love story. There's like the hero who has to save the world. Whatever type of story you have, she has an example of it, and she's going to break down all of those beats into kind of what that looks like. So as I'm a romance author, I just have the buddy love in a little sticky note, and so she breaks down each of those with a popular book so you can kind of follow along. So the one that she does for the buddy love is the book Everything. Yeah, so if the size of the book is kind of freaking you out, don't worry about it. The actual beats are like not very long. The explanation of the beats are not very long. Most of the book is just those breakdowns for each of those categories, so don't worry about it. So this is what I always go to. And then what I do is I have some sticky notes. So again, if I go to that page 24, it's going to talk about Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. So what I'll literally do is I'll just start a sticky note and a pen. And then so the first scene in Act 1 is the opening image. So I'll write opening image on the top of my sticky note. And then I always write the percentage, because she breaks down the novel and each of the beats in like a percentage of the novel. So as I go into Scrivener and I start plotting out my chapters, then I kind of know how far in the book this chapter is supposed to be, so I can kind of get an idea of like how long this book's supposed to be. Okay. Opening image 0 to 1%. I have like the world's worst handwriting, so I apologize. And so in this kind of brief little example, again, I just kind of wanted to keep this video super short, not too in detail, because if you're a pantser, you probably don't really like super detailed videos like this anyways, because you have no idea what you're doing. So in this kind of example, I'm going to make up a story, which I'm never going to write, so don't worry about it, about like a bounty hunter vampire named Lucy who lives in outer space, something like that. Super crazy. So again, because I'm a romance junkie, it's going to be like a love story. So basically on this, what I would write is I would write that title, and then my opening image would be Lucy tackling alien to ground on Mars. Whatever, you get the point. So then what I do is, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I always have like a single notebook per story idea. So I'll just open up the notebook, and I usually flip it in a couple pages in case I have like any additional notes that I want to write, and I will just start sticking my notes in my book. So again, now I would do theme stated, and then this is going to be the 5%, and in this one it says theme stated, a statement made by the character, typically not the hero, that hints at what the hero's arc will be. That is, what the hero must learn, discover before the end of the book. Also referred to as a life lesson. So, not really sure what Lucy's going to be doing in outer space, but it's probably going to be something like maybe like her best friend, whatever, right? So I will literally do this for every single beat. So there, like I said, there's 3 acts, and then there's multiple beats per act. So I will just super briefly, like anything that will fit on a single sticky note, I will write that in, and then I'll put it in order in my notebook. So as I'm, you know, writing through my notes, or if I have other things that I'm jotting down, I can always look back to these sticky notes. And again, I'm super unplanned. What's the word? Unorganized. I'm super unorganized. So like none of my planning really makes any sense. I always just kind of jot things down like however it comes. I'll usually write like each of the main characters will have like their own page, so I can kind of just jot down their backstories, and then I'll always have like maybe like I'll do like the act, so I'll put like an act 1, act 2, act 3 on 3 different pages, and then just write down notes. So again, just something super simple, nothing really complicated. I don't have like a story bible or a story binder, whatever you're gonna want to call it. I don't have anything like that. And so as I go into Scrivener, which I will switch my screen for you guys just like super briefly show you how I do it. Again, it's not complicated at all. I just take those sticky notes and I start plotting out some chapters. So the way that I do it is well, I'll show you on my screen. Okay guys, so here I have Scrivener uploaded, and let's rearrange this a little bit. So what I typically do is I'll go over here and I will click show page layout, so that way the way that you look at it is like an actual page, so you kind of have an idea of where you are on the page as you keep going. And then if you continue typing, it'll actually populate a new page. So you can see right here it's 1 out of 2. So this is typically how I like to do my writing. And then I will always go to Times New Roman 12 and then do 2. And then the way that I do my plotting is if you click up here which says draft, you'll actually see these like little sticky notes. So then I will do like Lucy is capturing an alien on Mars, whatever. And then if you click back here, I'll always do it as chapter 1. So again, I always break down my stuff into chapters because that's just how I prefer to do it. And then again, if you click on draft, there you go. So each of them will kind of show up like a little note card, I think these are called. As you keep adding your chapters, these will continue to populate. So this is super helpful if you want like a big document overview. And then if you click on here and click this little I button, this is where you have it. So notes will not show up. So if you put hi right there, and if you go to here, see it does not show up. But anything that you type up here, this is going to show up on the actual little note cards earlier. So again, Lucy's capturing an alien on Mars. He is in trouble for stealing a spaceship. Whatever, right? So typically, that's not how you spell spaceship. Whatever. So typically, depending on where I am in my story idea, sometimes this will be like super detailed. Sometimes it'll be something super simple because I don't really have the story fleshed out. Yeah, so sometimes it'll literally be maybe a single paragraph that I go off of, but sometimes it'll be almost like the whole chapter. So I'll do like something super brief. So again, like Lucy is wearing red sneakers. The air on Mars is really cloudy, right? Whatever. She sees the alien. He looks at her and says, "Get away, I know what you are. Good for you." He snickers. "You're crazy. I'm here for your head." So you get it. So sometimes I'll have like a scene that's really in depth. So sometimes I'll even just kind of write it here. So I'll do like brief dialogue. Sometimes I'll like a little dialogue tag, but I'll go like as detailed as I want. Like I don't usually limit myself, if that makes any sense. So I'll do this for every single chapter. So again, sometimes even above chapter 1, I'll do like 1%. So this is kind of where I am in the book, right? So as I keep going, as this keeps growing, then it'll be like 20 to 25, 30%, whatever. So that way, as I'm plotting, since I do plot in chapters, I can see the length of this book. Or if I know like I'm already on chapter like 37 and I haven't even hit the 50% mark, then I know I'm going to be in trouble because this book is going to be humongous, or I need to look back and see where I can combine those chapters. So like I said, super simple. This is literally how I do it. So this part of the Scrivener app is so helpful for me. And then again, if I go up here and I get to see them in a big layer, that's even better. So again, see, this has everything that's over on this part. This will pop up. So that way, if I need to look at the book as a whole, I can see like a super brief overview on everything that's happening. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for you guys. I highly recommend doing it this way if you have no idea what being a plotter really means. Honestly, when people say story Bibles, I'm just confused. I'm like, I don't know how you can fill up an entire binder worth of stuff like this. So this doing it this way is super helpful, since obviously you're going to be writing your books in chapters anyways. You might as well kind of know what each chapter is going to happen. What is going to happen in each of those chapters. And that's kind of it that I have for this video, you guys. Like I said, becoming a pantser to a planter has been like one of the best decisions as a writer that I've ever made. I've talked about this before, but on my first book, the reason that my edits took so long was because my book was just a huge jumble of a mess. Like I had no real direction. So now that I have a actual outline before I started the second book, I feel much more calm about it. I feel much more positive about it. So if you are a pantser like me and you're hoping to try to get into it a little bit more, like I said, I highly recommend Save the Cat because it really breaks it down super simple. And I appreciate the fact that in that back of the book, like I was saying earlier, she has all the different examples of the different type of books. So if I ever want to jump into like an action hero or like a I don't know, whatever, more of like a hero-based story rather than like a romance, I'll know how to do that. So I will have the link listed down below if you guys have not checked out Save the Cat. And yeah, I hope this video was like at least a little bit helpful for you guys. I know that I get a lot of questions over on Instagram about how I plot, especially since I'm so open about the struggle that I had for the first book during my editing process. So I hope this helps, and if it helped you guys and you my dog, and if you decide to do it this way, definitely let me know how it worked for you. If you had like any other tips, or if you had any other like page ideas that you put in your notebook so you can jot down different information, let me know, because I'm always looking to make my plotting a little bit better. So yeah, like I said, super simple. I just wanted to kind of explain to you guys how I do it. So I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.